Once again, it's on.
You were on, right?
A little bit. A little bit.
Talk about your performance, especially in the first half when it seemed like you were the only offense.
Basically, I kind of just let the game come to me. I try to get some defensive energy on the court for us, and that kind of started my offensive game. And once I kind of got rolling, I just kept shooting.
What happened, guys, at halftime? I mean, was it locker room like?
I mean, Coach came in and got on us. He really, told us, man, we need to go out there and play defense, because that's probably the worst we ever played in the first half. No offense, only one person scoring, and so he just told us to go and give a better effort, because he didn't think we was playing with a good effort. Yeah. So we just went out there and try to play hard on defense, and once we play defense, everything else kind of it'll fall into place.
Over the last 2 games, would you say that you were in a little bit of a slump?
Slump, yes, definitely. I told myself that I was kind of in the slump, and that I just got to bounce back, and get myself out there, because I know my team needs me. So whenever I really don't play as good, or anybody on our team don't play as good as they're capable of, it affects our team and kind of takes a little bit away from our team, and we need to win all these games coming up.
Mario, second half, you got a lot of easier shots. What was going on to get you easier shots in the second half?
I mean, basically, the guards were looking for me. That's probably as plain as I can say it right there. They was looking for me. And with them knocking down some outside shots, it opened it up for me down low.
Not only that, but your scoring came to you later in the second half, but it looked like you made some defensive plays that kind of helped both Mario and James on the other end in that run at the start of the second half.
Yeah, that's what happened. Defense leads to offense. That's always going to happen. You get a couple defensive stops, and we get running. That's how we play. We get up and down once we get the stops and get a rebound. I think in the first half as much we wasn't scoring, so we weren't scoring because I rebounded. We wasn't finishing our defense off with a rebound so we could push it. And I think the second half we did a better job of that, and that made us get up and down more and get them more points and get them going. Because I think the power play of the game is really kind of what got J.O. going, when he caught that hoop or whatever. So that gets us going when we get up and down.
You did keep one for yourself. Do you remember the play where you got the seal, took it all the way down, hit the jumper?
The jumper, yeah. That's what, when you feeling it, man, when you feeling it, that's kind of stuff you can do.
See it all the time in practice, you know what I'm saying? I work every day.
Yeah, I work on it in practice with Randy. Randy Rutherford. I work on it pretty much every day on him, and it's starting to get just like second nature to me. So.
What were your thoughts when Iowa State was walking the ball up the floor in the last 8 minutes of the first half? They're just trying to make it a real slow game.
No. We wasn't trying. We really wasn't. We was trying to press them more. Actually, I was the guards.
They was trying to slow the game up, because they like to shoot a lot of threes, and if they slow the game up and they shoot threes, that's the way they stay in games. Yeah. We just try to speed up the game, but we didn't really, like you said, we didn't rebound, so we couldn't speed up the game in the first half. And so the second half, like you said, we rebounded, speed up the game, and they couldn't. I don't think they could, handle the intensity. But like I said, y'all, congrats to them. They played tough.
Did you talk to Mike?
Oh, yeah, I talked to him before and after the game. Yeah.
What did you tell him after the game?
No, I just told him keep his head up, man, and keep in contact with me, still talk.
Terrell, how tough is it for you guys to keep improving in practice, being as short-handed as you are? Is that a problem?
No, we're not. I don't believe we're short-handed, really, to be honest with you. Like any other team, they only really have 8 players, playing. So I think we straight right now, But as far as intensity, that's what we got a Darius for. We got a couple walk-ons that'll help us in practice and give us a little bit more looks, for like defensive drills and stuff like that. So I don't think there's a problem as far as our practice, because we have intense practices that's starting to get a little shorter now that we're in conference and we got to run up a few games in a row. So I think we'll be fine.
You seem to disagree, Mario. Do you think
No, I agree with what he's saying because I understand exactly what where he coming from. But like you say, like having shorthand, like we only having like 7 strong. Sometimes we have to practice the whole time. Whereas if like a Texas A&M, they got 18 people sitting on their bench, they might not have to practice the whole time, and so they kind of rest, and things like that. But I mean, like you say, we just got to play through it. That's what he's saying. We got to play through it, and it ain't no excuse.
Can one of you guys comment on Kenny's game? Because he was kind of instrumental in the start of the second half run, too.
Rebounds.
Been active. I mean, he gonna be a good player, and once he just be able to just keep his focus at that level and come and bring it every day, he's gonna be, a beast because he gets in there and rebound, get all kind of offensive rebounds and putbacks and things like that, and he rebounded at defensive end. So, I mean, he was help to that run we made.
It's only taken you guys 21 games to pass last year's win total. Did you expect something like that?
I mean, we did. I mean, no matter how you say it, but we thought, we were going to be much better this year than last year.
Anybody would.
Yeah, I mean, we had the talent, but we just didn't have the togetherness. Team.
Basically.
We'll continue any player interviews outside Heritage Hall. We have Coach McDermott waiting outside for this guys.
All right.
Questions for players first?
Wesley, what did they do in the second half to get the tempo up to the way they wanted to play?
They really just came out and just picked it up on their defensive-wise. It just came out more aggressive than they did the first half. I think we had them shook up the first half, how we playing defense, and slowed it down. They just came out more aggressive.
You had to expect that.
Yeah, we did, but
I was just more effective.
We talked about it, and they were going to pick it up. Like they were going to do something, try to speed it up, but then when they came out, I guess we weren't ready for it, even though we were told. I guess we weren't ready for it.
Rashawn, was that about as physical a game as you've had been in this year? It was quite a bit of pumping around.
Yeah, it was physical, but we played against teams that was physical this year, so that really wasn't, the key of them, coming out with the win. The second half, we just didn't play as well as we did the first half. We gave them second chance shots, which hurt us. And with a team like this, you can't give them second chance shots because they'll take advantage of it. And as they did, they took advantage of it and they built the lead up.
You guys did a good job on Curry and Bogan. Harris hurt you. Did you expect him to be able to play like that?
Not really. Our focus was mainly on Bogan and Curry. We didn't. If we took them to away, then we would basically have the game really close like we did. But he came out and played really well. We knew he could shoot. We just didn't get to him like we were supposed to.
What's working on shooting again in the Achilles heel? You had a lot of layups and just rolled out. And I know that's been like that last few games.
Yeah, just gotta focus more. Just gotta focus on the easy shots, like the free throws. We gotta just focus, and like the layups, they were there. They weren't going in.
Last question for players? All right, guys, thanks.
Our guys followed the plan about as well as we could expect the first half, and we needed to control the tempo to keep the crowd out of the game, and then when Hubalik and Taylor got in foul trouble, then we really had to gear it down. And I hate to play that way, but I also hate to lose. So we felt that gave us a chance, and they just they really attacked on the offensive glass. I thought we did a good job keeping them off the glass the first half, but I think 2 of their first 3 baskets to start the second half were a result of offensive rebounds, and we turned it over 2 of our first 3 possessions. So I rolled the dice and tried to protect Taylor to start the second half, thinking we could get to the first TV timeout, and if we could get there and still had the lead, or if it was tied, we'd still be okay. Because what I didn't want to happen was for him to pick up his 4th right away, and obviously that strategy did not work.
Greg, it looked like in the second half OSU did a better job of getting Bogan the ball in scoring positions. What exactly was happening to make that possible?
Well, they probably executed a little better than they did the first half, and I don't think we executed our defensive plan as well. Our help was there the first half. The help was there to keep it out of his hands, not to try to help once he caught it. The second half we were a little bit late, and we tried to help once he caught it. And he's just too good a player to do that. And we had the lead at halftime because we did a good job on Bogan, we did a good job on Curry, and you have to give up something. And we know Terrell Harris can shoot it, and he made us pay for being a little bit late.
The Oklahoma State had played 3 conference games previous to this, and all 3 teams had taken them to the wire. Baylor almost to the wire, and the other 2 to the wire. Did you think? Because of what had happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to that. I felt if we executed our game plan for 40 minutes, we could get to the last 5 minutes and have a chance to win. And I think that's all you can expect coming into a place like this against a very talented team with a young and inexperienced team. And our guys, I don't fault their effort. I don't fault their ability to follow a plan. We just make some mistakes, and once again, our shooting percentages across the board aren't good enough to win anywhere. So we're fortunate to be in the game. Given those percentages, you better play pretty good defense. You better rebound well if you're going to shoot it like that.
How much of a factor is the recent shooting relating to a point guard? I mean, to the consistent play out of your point guard, getting the ball to the players in good scoring position.
That's part of it. Because that upsets our timing, and when your timing's upset, now your players aren't shooting their shots in rhythm. But it's hard to. Don't need a lot of rhythm on the free throw line.
Yeah.
And I think Wesley missed a couple tip dunks when he was right there, and we missed a couple other layups. There's no excuse for that. And our guys just have to. The one thing we don't get yet, we don't get the level of commitment it takes to make yourself the best shooter you can possibly be. From a practice standpoint, the way we practice now compared to the way we practiced on in mid-November, it's unbelievable the change. But outside of practice time, I'm not sure we understand what it takes yet, and that's part of the growing process and something they'll figure out over time.
Defensive pressure really seemed to rattle you guys.
Well, especially when Corey had to play a lot of minutes because Mike was in foul trouble, and you take our best ball handler and put him on the bench with 3 fouls. It's going to be tough on anybody if you have to play extended minutes against that. Thank you.
Have a brief intermission.
You're just half right.
What time of the game is it? Anybody have the final protection? Yeah, 84-79 Horns.
second half, was a lot better. I thought the first half was about. I told those three officials I was sorry they had to call that game. But we just, we didn't have any energy, and then I thought they had a good game plan to try to shorten the length of the game. I was smart on their part, and they sagged off Marcus and sagged off Kenny, and I thought we settled for too many jump shots the first half, and did not get the ball inside. And the whole message of the second half was to get out and attack them in transition, attack them inside. And, we were able to get on a good run coming out of the second half and get control of the tempo, which I thought was really critical in this game because they wanted to have a slow pace. And our defense was pretty good. I thought for over the length of a whole game, we defended well enough and defended about as well as we have in a while, and did a good job on Taylor. But just, didn't play very well offensively the first half at all.
Was there a little intensity in the halftime dressing room?
There's a few choice words that I don't think my mom or wife would have been very happy with, but it seemed to work, seemed to get their attention. I just told them how important this game was, that if they want to have a chance to win the Big 12, they want to have a chance to make the NCAA tournament, this is a game that they had to win. And it was important for no more reasons than that, because of what this day's the anniversary of the plane crash. So I thought they responded well the second half and played with a lot more intensity.
Mario and James played well in the second half, but Barry and I were doing some math. You combine Cooper and Terrell, they were 10 of 14 from the field. Can you comment on the impact those two guys stepped up to have tonight?
Terrell probably played his best game since we've been in the Big 12, coming off maybe his worst game against Oklahoma. But he was the only thing really in the first half at the offensive end we had going. He made some, and then the second half he made two big threes, and Kenny continues, I think, to get better. Both those guys really play hard and made a lot of improvement this year. In Terrell's somebody that is capable, on any night going out and getting double figures. He's got a lot of different ways that he can score, and Kenny's just getting, more aggressive. I really thought he had more than 4 rebounds, but he's getting more confident with his back to the basket, and he's become a very good offensive rebounder.
Sean, anything technical or strategic you did in the second half to get Mario?
We ran quite a few plays to get him the ball on the block, and I thought our screening was better, and we showed more patience in getting the ball in there. But I thought that was important, that we get the ball inside. I did not think that they had any answer to cover him. And it's the thing, sometimes it's frustrating with our guys. If you throw it in there to him, he's unselfish enough that he's going to throw it back out. And just a lot of good things happen when the ball goes inside. And I thought that was the difference. That, and then we were able to get some points in transition to kind of build the lead and make them kind of come out of that spread offense that they were running.
Coach, I was going to ask you, the next few games, everybody's going through the same thing. We're almost at the halfway point of the conference. I think everybody's, experiencing mental fatigue, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought, I really thought we would play sharp tonight and play pretty well, considering we've been off all week long. But I don't think that's big a problem. I just think that there's going to be a lot of close games. I just don't think that there's overwhelming differences in terms of the talent in this league. Everybody's good, and if you don't come ready to play, you're gonna be in a fight. You look around today at the games and what happened. Baylor's right there with Texas at the wire in Austin. Missouri beats Tech. Oklahoma's right there with a shot to win in College Station. So I just think there's going to be a lot of close games.
The full week off, come at a good time, or would you?
I think it's probably pretty good. We didn't work very hard this week. That's why I was really frustrated at halftime with the lack of intensity and as poorly as we shot. You know, that's one thing I thought we would shoot the ball well tonight. But you know, we'll have some time this week to get better. I'm going to give them at least, you know, you got to give them one day off, but I'm thinking about giving them back-to-back days off, and that's something we did twice during the Final Four team, twice during the next year when we went back to Sweet 16. But you know, I did not think that they were tired tonight. I just didn't think we played very well the first half.
How tough is it to get better in practice?
That's a good question. It's harder this year than it's ever been because we don't have the depth where you challenge guys every day in practices. And normally, we've always had great competition on the practice court, and we've always told our guys that, you know, practice is going to be 7 out of 10 times harder than the games. And so this year we've had to do some things a little bit different. We played more 2-on-2, more 3-on-3, 4-on-4 to even things up, and we've had to split the starters up so it becomes competitive. But it's not been like it's been in the past, I can tell you that. And we've had some teams here that had some great red shirts sitting out. When I was a senior, Randy Rutherford, Brooks Thompson, our brother Vaughn Bennett was on the practice squad, and I mean, they were good enough that, you know, they beat us on some days. And then the year before we went to the Final Four, when Melvin and Victor were seniors, we had Stevie Graham, Joey Graham, Daniel Bobick, Mons and Dove were freshmen on that team, and it just made practice a lot more intense. And you know, I don't think that we've improved as much as I would like us to, but it's just do the best you can with what you have, I guess.
Sean, you just hinted at this, and you said the other day that you would give them 2 days off if they win and if they play well. Did they play well enough to give the 2 days off?
They won. That was the biggest thing. Yeah, and they played well the second half. But I just think you look at the long haul, that when you have an opportunity like this, you know, I was really mad at them at halftime for the way that they performed. But you know, I was happy that they responded the way they did the second half, and we played good defense, and then we shot 59%. But I think over the long haul of the season, this is probably the right thing to do. Although I threatened them at halftime if they didn't win this game that we were going back to 3.5-hour practices all next week.
Any other questions? Thanks, Curtis.
So that starting at 12:01 tomorrow?
We were going to start tonight at 12:01.